Gentlemen, make note of the date and time. NFL UK is back in business.
How?
National Vintage League have cancelled the emergency broadcast.
Yeah. This calls for a carver.
Sandra, joining us for a glass of carver?
Actually, no. National Vintage League have just released the NVL show. It's like the emergency broadcast, but much, much better, with niche stories, special guests, and more Broderick Bunkley than ever. I'm so sorry.
Sandra, could you call my wife and tell her I'll be home late again tonight, please?
That's the prime motherfucker.
You know what? Let me grab it so I can.
Go and grab it. Go and grab the jacket.
Hold on.
Of all the ways to start, that's probably the best. Go and get the item that you purchased from National Vintage League.
Yay! We got a whole 1 page of research right here, Colleen.
Oh shit!
Guess who's back, baby? And we're back. Of course we were never going anywhere. Are you kidding me? On a Thursday night, what else would we do? Come on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the NVL show. And what is the NVL show?
It's dedicated to Philadelphia fans around the world. We decided to pivot and really just focus on one specific team.
So it's all Philadelphia all the time.
Forever.
No, it's not. It's exactly the same thing. It is exactly the same. Niche as hell. Broderick Bunkley.
Broderick Bunkley has dropped out of the top 10. That's the big surprise.
Nothing changes apart from the name. I'm so tired. It's taken, imagine deciding you're going to do this in a week and putting all this together. I haven't slept. So it's the NVL show. And we're sorry we scared you.
Fires were lit, candles were burned.
And to all the people that were burning our jerseys in Scotland and across the nation, we apologise. Contact National Vintage League and we'll get replacement jerseys sent out to you.
And apologies that you now have to cancel all the plans that you made for future Thursday nights based on the assumption that you thought the emergency broadcast was over. It's not, it's just got a new name. It's basically Snickers. We were Marathon, we are now Snickers. What was once Frutella is now Starburst.
What was once Blockbuster is now defunct and remembered fondly, but we move forward with Netflix.
So, why are we here, Hugh? Well, if you haven't been paying attention to what we have behind, on us, and in front of us, today's about Philadelphia. Not the cream cheese or the film. Sad, but actually the fans.
Are the Philadelphia Eagles fans the worst fans in any sport? Maybe.
Allegedly, it has been purported by various news articles and stories for decades that they are. We're going to look into it today.
And we're putting aside personal hatreds. I hate the Eagles. I mean, everyone's got an I hate the Eagles story, but I hate the Eagles because I'm a Buccaneers fan, and when we were sort of on our up and up, a big Donovan McNabb-shaped obelisk stood in our way for years until we beat them at the vet, so I'm not a fan of the Eagles. And Chris?
Well, I mean, this was painful to put this on, honestly. We did it for the show. It shows how committed we are to bring you good content, regardless of our personal allegiances. But we're going to look at the facts. We're not going to let our judgment, our bias, cloud our vision on this.
So let's do it. What are we going to start with?
Well, Philadelphia, nicknamed the City of Brotherly Love. Ironic, as we pointed out, allegedly, Philadelphia fans hate everybody. I mean, if you think about it, this is a team that won a Super Bowl and then trashed their own city. I mean, that is literally like getting a car for the first time after never owning a car for 58 years and then keying it before you get it out of the lot. Let's go back to one of the most famous stories about Eagles fans being rather not nice, and that was when? In 1999, I believe.
1999.
Behaving questionably on the night that could have been, and did actually end up being, one of the most epic draft nights they ever had.
It's the 1999 draft. With the benefit of hindsight, we can tell there's only pretty much one jewel in this draft, and he's sat at number 2. But the Philadelphia Eagles fans are going to boo him anyway. The Browns are up first. Who do they take? They've just got rid of the sofa, so they need a new couch. Tim Couch at quarterback, who plays like an old couch, and then he gets discarded by the side of the road. At number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles want Ricky Williams.
Well, the fans do.
The fans want Ricky Williams.
Because if you think about it, the previous season in 1998...
Juice Staley. Yep.
Juice Staley ran for over 1,300 yards.
Fan favourite, Juice Staley. But the Eagles fans see big, shiny, dreadlocked Ricky Williams running out of Texas with the Heisman tucked under his arm, and they say, we want him.
And a spliff in his hand.
And what did the management say? No! Roll in the Donovan, it's Donovan McNabb.
With the second pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Donovan McNabb, quarterback, Syracuse University.
Back up the van.
Back up the van full of burgers. It's Donovan McNabb. Nice joke. Just keep the jokes sort of bobbing along. Yeah. See, nothing changes. The NVL show still have like stupid little jokes. And the Eagles fans boo him sans intermission for the entire time he's drafted.
I mean, imagine taking a job for the first time. It's your dream job. You've been trying to get this job forever, and then on your first day, before you've even signed your contract, all your co-workers turn up and boo you. Boo the selection of you and the addition of you to their team.
You know what? This is the biggest non-New York contingent we have ever had. And now the Giants and Eagles fans are going, you know what? The season is underway here in late April.
It kicked off awfully early. I mean, the Eagles were genuinely, the fans are irate over the fact that they didn't take Ricky Williams. But you have to, I hope the fans don't take it out on Donovan McNabb.
No, they better not.
They really better not, because he's a young man who has the opportunity to be able to come in and I think really make an impact on the Eagles on offense.
And then you go on to become arguably the greatest player in Philadelphia Eagles history. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Donovan McNabb. Probably Eagles fans are like, no, Donovan McNabb, he's not the greatest. What about Randall Cunningham? Let me list some stats off for you, Eagles fans. I hate Donovan McNabb with a burning passion because I'm a Buccaneers fan, and we were great for a window of about 3 years. And for those 3 years, Donovan McNabb said no every single time in the playoffs. So Donovan McNabb, not only had the Eagles retired his number, he took them to the Super Bowl in 2004. That's all you want from a QB, apart from to win the Super Bowl. He became the Eagles' all-time leader in passing attempts, pass completions, pass yards, and touchdowns. I mean, what more do you want from your quarterback? He had 8 playoff appearances, took them to the NFC Championship game 5 times, and yet at the draft, they booed him. They booed him so hard. But if you look around of all the people he was drafted in amongst, number 1, Tim Couch. Number 2, Donovan McNabb. Number 3, Akili Smith. Who else did you want? If you'd taken Ricky Williams, he would have run well for you for a couple of years, left him on smokeweed in Canada.
Champ Bailey taken by the Redskins. Great choice.
Who was 1999 Buccaneers?
Martin Gramatica.
Bottom line is, Donovan McNabb was only the 4th quarterback in NFL history to reach 30,000 passing yards.
Over 200 touchdowns, over 30,000 passing yards, over 3,000 rushing yards, and over 20 rushing touchdowns. He did it all, and yet boo, boo, boo at the Veterans Stadium and Lincoln Financial. The only 3 quarterbacks to beat him to that feat is Fran Tarkenton, who I didn't realise did a lot of running.
Vikings.
I thought he was just sort of a pocket passer, but clearly he was all over the field. John Elway doing his helicopter, and Steve Young, former Buccaneer. So, Eagles fans, why did you boo Donovan McNabb?
But, in defence of Eagles fans, who hasn't got it wrong on draft night? I remember cheering RG3 once upon a time. Look how well that turned out. Everyone's allowed to boo the wrong people, cheer the wrong people. I mean, lest we forget.
Brothers.
Booing's one thing. Physical violence, however, is something entirely different. In 1983...
yeah, those are 2 very different things. Booing and punching.
In 1983, my dear at that time named Washington Redskins, and now the Washington football team, had a questionable mascot. It was Chief Z. It was just a dude who was in no way Native American, dressed up like a Native American.
Oh yes, the 1980s.
Problematic? Of course. Philadelphia fans were woke before their time, and they said no to misrepresentation of Native American culture, even in the 80s. So what do? They beat up Chief Z. With the benefit of hindsight, the Eagles fans did nothing wrong until they laid a hand on Chief Z. The objection to Chief Z is warranted. Bottom line, Chief Z got his leg broken.
His day. What?
Yeah. He got attacked twice in one day. First of all, he got his headdress taken off and thrown down the thing, and then on the way out, he got his legs broken.
It's 1999. The Eagles have just finished booing Donovan McNabb. They booed all the way into week 5. Michael Irvin comes across the middle for the Dallas Cowboys, and he gets hit by cornerback Bobby Taylor and then nailed by Tim Houck. But it looks like a kind of innocuous hit. However, Michael Irvin hits the deck and he stays there. Inside Michael Irvin's head, he's thinking, oh my God, I'm paralyzed. I can't move. And he said later in an interview, I thought I'd never hold my son again. Unfortunately, he can hear. And all he can hear is, yeah!
Michael Irvin stays down.
Here's Michael Irvin. He's going to run the slant. You see, he's going to come about 4 yards and just come to the inside. Yeah, you know, we talk about hitters. The Eagles have one in this Tim Houck. He's number 45, and it looks like him. He's going to come flying by. You see, Irvin sees him, and Houck comes and just lowers it on him right there.
The Eagles fans cheer the entire time he's on the ground, which is like 5 minutes, I guess.
Plus, let's just rerun that hit. I mean, if you compare that hit to Reggie Bush getting hit by an Eagles player out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Lines up as the tailback. Reeves swings it out to Bush. The ball is knocked away, and an incomplete pass, and a crunching hit put on by Sheldon Brown.
Because he brought pressure, but he still had Sheldon Brown out in the flat to come and put up a big hit. Reggie Bush was completely exposed.
Yeah, they cheered Michael Irvin when he thought he was dying and he'd never hold his son again on the floor. That kind of sucks, Eagles fans.
Well, I think we have to move to the classics now, the things that everyone, if they Google Eagles fans, this will auto-populate. Throwing snowballs at Santa. Classic. It's the 60s. 1968 to be precise. The Eagles are trying to have a terrible season because the jewel at the end of the Nile would be O.J. Simpson, #1 overall pick next year. Unfortunately, the Eagles win 2 games. So that takes them out of the running for O.J.
So they were tanking before tanking was a thing?
They were.
Wow.
They had their eyes on O.J. And it was snowy, and the people at the stadium had decided not to bother clearing off the snow from the seats that week. And so imagine the disgruntled Eagles fans, some season tickets holders that turn up to see their favorite seat covered in snow.
And their teams won 2 games when they were planning on losing them all. You've got free snowball material and you're pissed off and you're from Philadelphia. What else are you going to do?
Well, Philadelphia officials decide to drag 19-year-old Frank Olvio out of the crowd and down to dress up as Santa.
Olvio?
Olvio.
That sounds like a weird non-butter brand.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not Santa. Everybody, as Hugh said, armed with the ammunition of basically 4 free snowballs, decided to pelt Budget Basement Santa with snowballs, which led to the immortal Olvio line, "You're not getting anything for Christmas."
Really?
Yeah.
When did he say that?
As he was getting hit in the face with snow.
You're not getting anything for Christmas.
Still a Philly legend, still gets interviewed every Christmas to this day.
That's so great.
I mean, let's be honest, if we were Eagles fans, or indeed any fans, or indeed anyone at all, and were given free snowball material and then presented with a scrawny 19-year-old in a Walmart Santa hat, we would have chucked him too.
The man's eating snow. Okay, so you've got like the Chief Z incident, you've got 1968, and then there's footage from like 2 seasons ago. Eagles fans don't change. The lineage of being aggressive dudes is passed on from father to son, like an old pair of boots or a nice watch.
Oh!
Minnesota Vikings fans who are just in their nice jerseys. Someone's in a Tarkenton jersey, someone's in a Thielen jersey. On a nice day out, come down from Minnesota, come to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
basically the scene of Game of Thrones where the town comes out to chant shame.
It's the beginning of the Shawshank Redemption, and all the Eagles fans are rattling the fence going, Vikings, Vikings.
Funny segue. And we're talking about jails. Most famously, Eagles Court, which was the official courtroom and jail that the Eagles fans had. Well, the Eagles fans, I'm guessing it wasn't the Eagles fans. Probably the city of Philadelphia insisted upon. This kind of badge of bad honor for Philly fans is that they have their own, or had their own jail and courtroom in the stadium, so that anyone that was getting a little bit too Philly could be sent down and sent down. However, 95% of the people charged and arrested and held in Eagles Court weren't Philly fans.
So it's kind of like Millwall, where they're known as the aggressors, and then the worst fans from all the other teams go there to start trouble to see if they can take on the big boy.
The fuck up, look out. Ma'am, lady, watch in case of my mess. Give me another egg, Ray.
Well, I mean, I think we've laid it out there. There is cases for, cases against. Philly fans are good, or are they bad? You're going to have your own opinions. However, I think we need some assistance.
We need an expert, but unfortunately, I think that expert lives in a different country and is 8 hours behind us. So I will see you at 4 o'clock in the morning.
The light may be different and I may be drunker.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're sat here, would you believe it? We're talking about Philly fans, and just out of nowhere, COLLEEN WOLFE has called us up. Hello, COLLEEN. Thanks for coming in.
What is up, guys? Listen, I felt like it's only right if I wear the jacket that I got from you guys.
If you guys don't know who COLLEEN is, you clearly haven't been paying attention.
Get out from under your rock.
COLLEEN has gone viral for many different NFL-related segments. Most recently, when COLLEEN interviewed Ben Brandt at the Combine, and he created the most disgusting-looking smoothie in the world.
Let me tell you about that thing, because we were talking about the smoothie, and we weren't planning on interviewing him that day, because we usually have like a set number of guys that we like ask for, but then we saw the smoothie business and we were like, well, shoot, we got to talk to him. And then it was like a half hour before we were going to talk to him, and we were like, do you think we could make the smoothie? We were like in Lucas Oil Stadium, and we were like,
where is the smoothie come from?
Like a blend? Is there
The
a blender
poor intern that you made run for, we need a pint of peanut butter, 27 bananas, a whole can of grits. You've got to make the grits. Of course you've got to make it. It takes 4 hours to make.
Dude, it was the most impressive thing I've ever seen, because it was all hands on deck, and all of a sudden everyone was scrambling to somehow find the ingredients in the stadium.
We need a smoothie, stat. And then the interns went, oh my God, she wants a smoothie. Someone run to the executive booth. We need strawberries. The quickest 40-yard dash of that day was the intern running a 2.1 40-yard dash to the executive lounge to get you chocolate to put in a smoothie.
They all got drafted very high to NFL teams.
The Buccaneers took an intern from NFL.com. No wonder.
And it is now a regular part of her morning routine. Next one we want to talk about, if you didn't watch the smoothie footage from the Combine, you definitely saw.
With me, if you wanted to. These expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. Hit the store, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick cut them. Also, don't get comfortable. Look.
Okay, so that happened during a commercial break, and it just so happened that they started playing it over the speakers down there in Philly, and so that was all season long. That was my hype song. So our producer that we had for our Saturday show was with us in Philly for the parade that day, and so it came on, and he was just like, let's hear it. And so he started filming me, so I was like mugging to him and the camera and loving life, not knowing that they were still rolling on me back at the studio. So when we came back and we were live on the air, they started playing it back, and I was very confused over the whole thing, and then simultaneously extremely embarrassed, because I was like, this is not a great representation of my rapping skills. I am way better than the video actually shows.
And I love how the initial thought was that, that is just not an accurate representation of my rapping skills.
No, I'm way better than
I'm so much better than that.
If you didn't see that, you definitely saw Colleen Wolfe very professionally trying to hold down an interview on NFL Network when none other than Marshall Lynch,
Marshall
Beast
Money
Mode,
Lynch,
Skittle Muncher himself.
You want to talk about the AFC
What do you know about the AFC West standings from last year?
You know I don't know nothing about nothing.
What's up, man?
Shit, I'm coolin'. What's happening?
You can't say that on TV.
No, come on.
But shit, y'all the ones told me to
No,
come over
you
here.
can't
Y'all
curse.
knew what
You gotta
time
stop.
it was before I came over here.
So we were at training camp. We were in Napa because that's where the Raiders used to have their training camp. And I was with Michael Robinson. And Michael Robinson knows Marshawn from Seattle. And so they were chopping it up. And we were trying to get Marshawn to come over and talk, but we were also a little nervous about doing it live because Marshawn kept yelling. The players were, I mean, very, very close to us. So they were just yelling stuff at us as we were like trying to do like live television just to mess with us.
What have you been doing with yourself?
Now, I ain't been doing nothing.
I know, but how do you feel about being back in the city running this football? Look, hey, no. Right
No,
here,
let's
man,
talk.
here.
Dude, you gonna do the normal thing, right? And ask questions about all the...
No, we can talk about your soul food restaurant that you bought.
See, look.
Why you ain't telling me?
She all dipping in my business.
Oh, that's my job.
Then Marshawn decided to come over and just chit chat. Not necessarily even about football. Didn't really want to talk about football. And I kind of knew that some curveballs could possibly come, just knowing his personality.
I was expecting curveball out the gate with Marshall Lynch.
Marshall Lynch, not one to follow stage directions.
Right. So I had a lot of stuff in my back pocket, like ready to just throw at him to, you know, just keep it moving, keep it going. And then all of a sudden, once I started talking about his new restaurant that he had just opened, he was like, "Oh, well, like, why don't you come by?"
He got a soul food.
So that's my first date to the sun.
Oh my God.
Oh no,
Money. I'm sorry. You can't.
Yes,
no,
very.
Those are
No,
notes,
that is
man.
very nice. No, I'm sorry.
Thank
to say
you.
right there.
Thank
That's
you.
very nice. So we will not be dating.
I'm sorry, Marshawn. I'm actually busy. Please stop.
I have plans for the rest of my life.
I don't know if you know, but the UK is not America, Colleen. They're two completely separate countries.
Thank the Lord. No.
And you have American football, and we have shops dedicated to American football. And I was walking up my street, right, in London, and I'm obviously a massive nerd for this stuff. I'm sat here dressed in a Philly jacket. I'm sat here looking like the 2002 NFC Championship game when Rondé Barber ran it back, baby. Shut down the vet. See, that's the face I wanted. That's the face that I wanted.
I did.
Really?
I said, are you really? And that's what I said. I said, it really? Are you just? I said, what's the question there?
We've just
Don't
gotta-
you
we've
ever
just
say
gotta
his
mention
name
it.
again.
I'll never forget Keyshawn Johnson on the sidelines just going, "Shut it down, baby."
That was
anyway.
awful. I
it's
used to live there. I know.
in London.
Actually,
Yeah.
Wait,
no.
hold on.
Someone that shops in the store knows you, met you and your fiance randomly in a bar in London, and you follow him. And then when he was like, "Oh, can I come and pick up some Eagles gear?" I looked at his Instagram. I was like, followed by Colleen Wolfe. I was like, "Yeah, come on."
It wasn't long, but I did my study abroad there in in college, and I lived in Kensington. It was very bougie.
Oh,
Philadelphia doesn't have an area like Kensington.
I was a little like Earl's Court. That was my stop.
Okay, that's a little bit less. You said
Yeah.
Kensington, then you went Earl's Court,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Great.
move on to talk about Philly rather than London. So I'm going to give
Okay.
you two very quick questions. Whiz with or whiz without?
So I am not a whiz person. I
only
go-
poos.
So whiz without.
I feel like Cheese Whiz is really gross because I
Yeah.
don't like, it's like atomic orange
Yep,
colored,
disgusting.
and I feel like that's just not natural. So
Yeah.
I am more of a American cheese kind of gal.
Yeah, okay, I feel
Good.
it. I feel it.
The second worst type of cheese. Okay, all right, you kind of passed that question. That's fine. At least you knew what we were talking about. That was
Yeah.
the one to test where the Philly fans were like, "She's not a Philly fan."
Can you imagine if Colleen actually was never from Philly?
Yeah.
So you got assigned Philadelphia by NFL.com. You're actually from Kentucky.
And I've just like really been leaning in. What a fraud.
So, next question, second question, last question. Do you, and this is the rap question, remember the hidden verse from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, God.
Bum, bum,
Oh, no.
bum, bum.
The hidden verse?
Oh, the hidden. You had to buy the album.
The secret verse.
The secret verse.
Through the second door to the right.
Oh, no. What is it?
Don't say what is it, because Chris is going to do the whole thing.
Oh, I begged them, pleaded with her day after day, but she packed my suitcase.
2,000 years later.
This might be all right. And then there's a bit where Jeffrey turns up and he thinks he's a policeman, he runs for it, and that's when he gets the cab. But unfortunately, he failed that one.
So we're 50% Philadelphia. I'm still not convinced that you're actually from Philadelphia. I think you're from Kentucky, and NFL.com gave you the Eagles. And it's time to play Which Wolf? I love how you might have thought you were going to come on an NFL show and talk about the NFL, and we have not talked anything about the NFL.
This is so much better.
Hugh, through the master of post-edit, will be flashing up the pictures Colleen has now. The first one is, do you know who those two people are, Colleen?
I have absolutely no idea who they are.
This has got off to a flying start.
Those are the US version of the Gladiator Wolf and the UK version of the Gladiator Wolf.
I will take the blonde.
The American? Okay, fine.
Fine.
That's
I didn't say American, I said blonde.
No. There are no wrong answers, Colleen.
No wrong answers.
That's fine.
But there are some that may raise an eyebrow. This is, can you identify those two people? Those two wolves?
Yes, we got Teen Wolf and...
Seth Green's character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, I never watched Buffy, but I loved Sarah Michelle Gellar, so... I mean, so obviously I'm going to have to go with Teen Wolf because I've seen that one. I love Michael J. Fox. And fun fact that Back to the Future and Teen Wolf were filmed on the same street.
The third round. The choices are the Wolf as the Sheriff of Nottingham from the Robin Hood animated Disney film.
Robin Hood!
Or Wolf Blitzer. So basically your choice is between a man trying to do his job under difficult circumstances and Wolf Blitzer.
That's the laugh he wanted. He wrote that joke earlier. I didn't get it, and he was like, she'll get it. And there's the laugh.
Because he's like, who's Wolf Blitzer? I'm like,
really
situation, that's fine.
Well crafted, love it.
Thank you.
I am 100% going to go with Wolf Blitzer because I also didn't recognize the first one from Robin Hood. But Wolf Blitzer is also the name of my fantasy team, one of my fantasy teams.
Of course it is.
Because it's perfect and I know my way around Photoshop, so I have done some things.
I think we will now at this point flash up the image that Colleen is talking about.
Bing.
Yes. So burn that into your brain.
So, round 4, which wolf? Colleen?
Wolverine. Wolverine or the Michigan Wolverine.
Correct.
Okay, I feel like these are two people you know.
This is a choice between a man that will never die and a team that will never die.
So, I'm going to go... I have no actual college football allegiance because...
Are you kidding me? The Drexel University... Are you kidding me?
The Drexel Dragons.
The Drexel Dragons, there it is. I didn't do enough research to know what the team name was, but I'm glad you corrected me.
So I am going to go strength in numbers, and I'm going to go with the Michigan entire team because I feel like that is going to, I mean, they have a better shot, even though Wolverine would put up a pretty good fight.
Yep, fair.
So you think that the entire starting Michigan football team of 19 and 20-year-olds could be a man made of metal that cannot die?
It's possible.
They got pads,
let's not
to be
rule
fair.
it out.
And I also enjoy it. Can we just take a moment for the Drexel Dragons? They're watching this because they saw you were on it, and they've sat through this whole thing, and then you've gone, the Drexel Dragons, someone's just gone, switch it off. Turn it off.
The last and most important question, which are these two wolves, Colleen Wolfe?
Okay, I'm going to go, obviously, Wolf of Wall Street.
Correct.
Yep.
One, and we got the big bad wolf on the other side.
Yep. So just before you choose, I'm going to say Colleen Wolfe. Now more than ever, I want you to tell me which you prefer out of a man that swindled pensioners out of their savings or an animal that killed an old lady and tried to kill a child. Which is it? Pensioner swindler or wannabe child killer? Which do you prefer?
Really a tough call, but as much as I love Leo, I love a classic. And the Big Bad Wolf is an absolute classic. Plus, I had a t-shirt when I was younger that said, "Are you afraid of the Big Bad Wolf?" So I got to go with that. It kind of tugs at your heartstrings.
An absolute success of a game, I think.
Probably shouldn't have picked random niche 90s UK references. But there you go. We
learn for next time.
And that's it. That's all we have. All the questions we have for Colleen. Now, wait a minute. We've forgotten to talk about a few very important things. Before we get on to Carson Wentz, let's talk first about your thoughts on this man.
Broderick Bunkley.
Broderick Bunkley.
Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Yes!
That is.
Bunkley makes it to the NVL show.
I actually went because when we talked pulling back the curtain before the show, you mentioned Bunkley to me, and I went into my phone book because
no way.
I used to be a booking producer in Philadelphia, and I would book all of the players and coaches and writers on the show. And so I still have a bunch of their numbers, which I'm sure they have since changed. But unfortunately,
no, Broderick doesn't change his number. That's classic Broderick.
Broderick's had the same number since high school.
Broderick's been on AT&T since day. So let's round this off with how everyone wants us to round this off. In one word, Colleen, sum up Carson Wentz's ceiling for this season. You have one word.
Domination.
Okay.
And that's all from Colleen Wolfe. She will be never joining us again.
Boo, Colleen Wolfe. Boo. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much, mate. That was so sick.
You're fantastic,
This was so fun. It was great to talk to you guys. I appreciate all of the Eagles' love and gear that you have on right now. It was a really lovely setting for this interview.
Have you done NFL Wembley?
I've never, and I've always wanted to. That's
Next
been
year.
on my list.
Next year. Make a beeline for it. We'll meet you there.
And usually we go to London every year. So next time I'm there, I'll hit you guys up. We'll grab a pint.
There you go.
See, I love that. We'll grab a pint. I sounded normal when I said that.
They have pints in Earl's Court.
Nailed it.
We're going to have a pint in Earl's Court. How about that?